Hi everyone, my name is Monique.
And I'm Naveen from Before You Play.
And today we're going to be previewing a game that is currently on Kickstarter called Wandering Galaxy.
Yes, this game is designed by Jerry Hawthorne and published by Plaid Hat Games, who are helping sponsor this video. And in this game, we are taking on the roles of a ragtag group of space crew who are trying to strike it rich in the galaxy.
Yes, this is a fully cooperative narrative campaign style game for 1 to 6 players, in which players will be working together to complete numerous jobs around the galaxy in order to try to strike it rich. Now, you may be familiar with the other games in the Crossroads series, such as Forgotten Waters or Freelancers, and similarly, in this newest installment, this game is also led by a web-based app. But if you prefer to not use an app, you can also use a separate booklet instead to guide you through the gameplay. And so today, we're going to be guiding you through the very beginning of a campaign, just to kind of give you an idea as to what to expect from the gameplay, but we're going to try to avoid spoilers as much as possible.
Now, we do have to mention this is a prototype copy of the game, so things are subject to change in the future. If you are interested in the campaign, there's a link in the description, which you can check out at your leisure. And lastly, if you like these kind of videos and you want to see more in the future, please consider subscribing.
And with that, we are ready to begin. So if you please direct your attention to the center of the table, we're all set up here for a 3-player game of Wandering Galaxy. Welcome to Riva Station. And so like we were mentioning, in this game, players play as various spacers who are working together in order to try to accomplish various jobs and explore the galaxy in order to become rich. And so today, I am playing as Valentine of the Nexus species, and I have my own cardboard standee here. And when setting up a campaign, each player must play as a different species. And when setting up your character, there are a few questions that you have to fill out on the back of your character sheet. And your answers will dictate your character's backstory, as well as any starting items or cards. And so in the case of Valentine here, Valentine is an enigmatic seeker. And their backstory says, I am a Nexu, a living soul encased inside an ectoplasmatronic body that's probably around 800 years old. My friends found me in a waste heap and somehow brought me back to life. My core memory is damaged, so I have no recollection of events prior to my reawakening.
Okay.
Most beings have never met a Nexu or even know we exist. I'm on a journey to either unlock my past or forge a new one. So I'm going to be starting the game with an inspired card from the catalog, which I've shuffled into my skill deck, or actually I think I placed it up here.
Yep.
So this is a status card, and over the course of the game, we'll have many opportunities to gain different types of status cards, which we'll be shuffling into our skill decks.
And for me, in this demo today, I'm going to be playing as Bellamy, who is of the species the Muse. And so my backstory is a rascal scamp. I am one of the unwanted mutts of the galaxy called the Muse. Thousands of years ago, some bozo in a lab thought it would be great to create a species of mutants to work in the harsh conditions of space. Lucky us. And because we breed like crazy, the galaxy is full of us, and we're all different.
Oh.
I'm lucky. I'm the clever kind with fast reflexes, sweet fur, and an analytical mind. So then I had to look through the deck of cards that's off screen and pick out item card number 20, which is my Viblade. So this is a weapon that I have equipped. And so that is my backstory.
Nice.
Now you know who I am.
Lucky you.
My Viblade.
Bellamy the Muse. And for this preview, we've also set up a third player who happens to be Muriel the Myriad. And we won't read their backstory, but just so you know, they do start the campaign with an item, the Hyperion Colony Suit. So this is going to be equipped as we start. In addition to our characters, each player will also take on one or more roles. And so in this game, there are 6 different roles, and they're actually quite active in the sense that when you are that specific role, you will have to make decisions for it.
Sure.
Because we've set up for a 3-player game, each player will need to control 2 different roles, and we'll explain each role as soon as we start utilizing them. Now, Wandering Galaxy comes with several campaigns, and each campaign is played over the course of 4 games. Each game, our goal is to earn 7 profits without gaining 7 threats. And so if either of these dials reaches their max, that is the way that a game will end. And so the player who is assigned the operations role will be responsible for monitoring our profits and threats, as well as controlling the app. And so our campaign opens on Riva Station, which is an ancient starbase where we all live.
Yep.
It's actually a really terrible place to live, apparently, which is why we're trying to leave.
We want out.
The problem is we don't have any money, which is why we have chosen to meet today to visit Octoph at the Triton Hotel.
And also the character that's going to be taking on the roles of the operations will be handling the app and reading through the narrative portions of it. If you don't want to read through it out loud, you can also use the voice actors that are going to be becoming part of the app.
Yes, there is a bit of voiceover narration. I'm going to read a little bit of it just to avoid, major spoilers, but here we go. No one sleeps in the Triton. Who wants to wake up with all of their internal organs, Naveen?
Yep.
Octoff is a loan shark who weirdly isn't a shark at all. You want to borrow some money, buy a ship, and then pay it off right away by being successful spacers. After all, one of you has a cousin who's a spacer, and she's an idiot.
Okay, so we need a ship. We don't have one, so we're going to the loan shark to help us out.
So then, when you are at a location in the booklet, we are going to play through a round. And a round is divided into 3 phases, starting with the planning phase. During this phase, starting with the first player and going clockwise, each player will assign their character standee to one of the actions that are at that location. Now, as you can see, the page is split into 2 different columns. The left side column here is all of the various places that we can go to, and the right side here details what you'll be doing if you go to that location. However, this phase is timed, and so when everyone's ready, I'm going to hit the start timer button, which will give us 45 seconds to assign our characters to actions. And if by the end of those 45 seconds, at least one player has not assigned their character, then we will gain a risk token in the draw bag, which we will explain a little bit more later.
Sure.
Now, there are 4 main types of action spots that you'll see on these pages. The blue spaces are limited, which means only one player can go there in a round.
Yep.
The green spaces are unlimited, so any number of players can visit those spots. Spaces that have the required marker with the exclamation points means that at least one player needs to be assigned to that action, and locked actions are not yet available until the marker is removed. All right, are we ready?
Yes.
All right, here we go. Start timer. So we have 45 seconds, which means you should probably try to avoid reading the right-hand side and just go purely based off of the left. So I am going to go to explore Rustport.
Okay.
So this is a blue location. Nobody else can go here.
Well,
And now it'll be Muriel's turn.
sure, Muriel, let's have them go to location number 2. Over
Okay.
There. Perfect. And then because we are required to do this last one, we'll just go ahead and place my character on that one.
You're going to visit Octoff?
I am.
All right, so we have all of our selections. We made it with 15 seconds to spare. We don't gain any bonuses for that, but now we move into the action phase where we're going to be resolving these different actions in numerical order. So we're first going to start with Naveen.
Yep.
Because you've chosen the very top here,
Bellamy
which
is
Oh,
gonna
sorry.
be, yes.
is visiting Octoff.
So the way we resolve this is we look to the right now, and then it says visit Octoff, enter 133. So we're going to be doing that on the app.
Yes, anytime it tells you to enter something, the operations player will enter those numbers in the app and follow the directions. So we're going to enter 133. All right, Naveen, Octoff has a tentacle in just about every major game in town. But he wields his influence from the lounge of the Triton Hotel. You see him at his booth in the back, a lackey whispering into his ear holes. You try to approach, but a sharp-dressed tower of muscle bars your way. Thick arms crossing his chest. So this is a...
You just
Yeah.
the bouncer. Okay.
On his lapel is a gold name tag with Manny printed on it.
Manny.
Okay, so,
I'm going to have to get through Manny.
and then Manny says, "Move along, scum." So since Naveen was the one who chose this action, you get to make the decision. Choose one.
Okay.
Do you try to sneak past Manny or try to intimidate Manny?
Seeing as I am the species muse, and we are very good at sneaking, I think I'm going to go ahead and sneak.
All right, so you're trying to sneak past Manny. Well, you gain a perk token, and we'll
Okay.
explain the use of perk tokens in a second.
Perfect.
In addition, you need to make a sneak skill check.
Okay.
Now, over the course of the game, you're going to be required to make numerous types of skill checks. And when making a skill check in this game, you're going to be using your skill deck. And so each player has their own asymmetric deck of cards that are specific to their species. And when making a skill check, you're going to flip over the top 3 cards of your deck
2
and
3.
you'll look at the symbols.
There we go.
But first, if any cards have any verbiage at the bottom that says play, then you would resolve those effects as well.
So in this case, my card says to draw an additional card and gain 1 reputation. So let's go ahead and just draw that extra card.
All right, and that is going to be added to the skill check. In addition, you gain a reputation. Now, anytime you gain reputation, you're going to mark those off on your character sheet. And for each reputation gained, you're going to cross off a bubble on your reputation tracks. And these will be completed from top to bottom. These basically determine your rank, and anytime you complete an entire row, you're going to gain a rank bonus, which is always positive.
And there's a wide variety of bonuses, which include gaining additional skill cards to improve your deck.
And once the game ends, it'll also determine the type of ending your character has. All right, so then let's go ahead and resolve Naveen's skill check here.
Yep.
So then, whenever resolving a skill check, you are going to count the number of symbols on the cards that pertain to that specific check. In the case of your sneak skill check, it's just going to be the red hands and the yellow eyes. In addition, the skill check shows 2 different value ranges. We have 0 to 4 or 5 and above. And I'm assuming if you gain a minimum 5, then that is probably a better outcome.
Yep. So as it stands now, I have a total of 2, the yellow eye and the red hand.
Fortunately, there are additional ways in which you can increase that number. One way is with any bonuses that your character or any items may have.
So I do happen to have sneak as a +1, so that's great for this particular case right now. So I have a total of 3. And of course, because this is a skill check that is sneaky, so it's +1. So I have 1, 2, 3. And I could spend any perk tokens that I would like, so this would make it 4. Now that's on the very highest of the lower range. So fortunately, there is a way that we can modify this again.
Yes, and that is by getting help from a friend. And so anytime a player is making a skill check, all other players around the table can roll the die and basically add whatever the value is to your skill check.
Right.
However, anytime we do this, we are going to gain a status card into our decks. And this is specifically a stress status card, which is going to get added to your discard pile. And anytime you run out of cards in your draw deck, you'll reshuffle your discard pile to form a new one, and you may end up drawing this stress card. So I'm going to do that.
Yeah, help out.
Hopefully I roll a 1.
Okay,
a 2.
perfect.
So I'm going to go ahead and take this stress card and add it to my discard pile. And these can be done in any order, so I guess you don't need to spend this anymore.
Yeah, we're going to keep this. So I have 1, 2, sneak is 3 because of my character, and then 4, 5.
Perfect. So let's go ahead and enter that into the app, 5 or greater.
Okay.
So then you basically try to sneak past the guard by blending in with the rest of the spacers. And the guard says, "Nice try." Manny grabs you and yanks you back.
Oh.
That was pretty good. Would have worked, but you're too good looking to pass as one of those worn out losers. Oh, Manny's mean.
Thanks, Manny.
Several of the spacers look back with hurt faces. Gain an inspired card, card number 15.
Okay.
So, one thing that we didn't mention is this game operates off of a card catalog system. And so, the player who is playing as navigation is responsible for gaining any cards that are in the card catalog. And these will be placed in numerical order before you start the game.
Sure.
Just make sure to keep it in order and you'll be fine.
There you go. We got the inspired card, so this will go into my discard pile.
And that is a status effect. So when you draw this card in a future skill check, it'll gain you +1, and it'll allow you to draw an additional card.
Nice. Also, when you finally discard this card, it'll go to the player on your right, so it'll kind of move to different players.
But wait, your sneak was not a complete failure.
Okay.
Because Octoff leers at you from his back booth, water sloshing over the sides of his glass tank. He waves a pink tentacle at you. Manny, bring that little freshie over here. So there is a bit of dialogue that I'm just going to skip over, but basically in the end, Octoff says, just sign your name and the Zephyr, a sweet little ship I have, is yours.
Okay.
So then we gain another item card. This is card number 20.
There you go. So we have a med kit. This is an item considered gear, and it says, after any player plays an injured card, you may dismiss and return this card to the catalog, meaning back to the box, and return that injured card to the catalog without filling in a scar. So these are damages that you can take over the course of the game. Just like you would imagine, a med kit kind of helps you from injury. So we're going to go ahead and equip that item.
And you actually have 2 options. You can choose to either ready the item, or you can place it into your discard pile.
Let's just ready it.
Okay. Then choose one, Naveen.
Okay.
You either respond by saying, "Thanks for the opportunity, Mr. Octoff," or "We won't let you down, sir."
Let's go with option 1. Thanks for the opportunity. I don't feel like I work for this person.
Okay. Well, congratulations. You now have a ship, a job, and plenty of soul-crushing debt. So we are going to lock action 1 by placing a lock token on it.
Sure.
And anytime you finish resolving your action, you're going to take your character off of the location action, although this also says to unlock action 6 and move your standee to action 6.
There you go.
So it looks like we will be resolving that action with you once we're done resolving the other ones. Octoff has also generously given you your first job. So gain job card number 71, which is called the crap job.
Okay. So as navigation, it is my job to not only manage the card catalog, but also manage the jobs. So we have the crap job. So here we are. Step 1. Octoff has sent us to the Scion Nebula for something he calls the crap job.
Oh.
Travel to the Scion Nebula.
Great. So as navigation, anytime you add a new job, you're also going to take the same colored waypoint ring and place it on our destination on the galaxy map, which we have off screen.
This will dictate our destination, essentially where we need to go to complete this job.
And the more jobs you'll acquire throughout the game, the more of these waypoints you'll be assigning to the map, but just note that you can only ever have at most 3 active at any given time. And while we're on the topic of the navigation role, in addition to these 2 responsibilities, they will also be monitoring the current status of the galactic struggle.
Yes, at any given time, the galaxy will be at peace, at war, or somewhere in between and ease.
Yes, that is where we currently are. This will dictate some of the narrative as you play through the story.
Mm-hmm. And of course, all of the cards that were used in the skill check will go into my discard pile, and then we'll proceed to the next player.
And that is how skill checks work in general. Now, one other thing is sometimes you'll have group skill checks where everybody will be required to do a skill check at the same time. And in those cases, you cannot ask for help from a friend.
Right.
All right, so let's go ahead and move on to the next action. That was quite a large one, huh? Mm-hmm. So we have Muriel here, who is visiting the Enforcement Bureau.
Okay.
Now, sometimes actions will allow you to choose from several options, and in the case of the Enforcement Bureau, it says Muriel can choose one option. They can either check out the job postings, or they can post bail, or they can even hunt bounties. Let's just go ahead and choose post bail for Muriel.
Okay.
Especially since they are controlling the logistics role, which is responsible for keeping track of our supplies and any cargo we have. And so supplies is one of the main currencies in the game, and we are going to be spending it to do various things, including purchasing cargo, as you'll see. And in this game, there are many different types of cargo. This is just an example of common cargo. And whenever you purchase cargo, they're going to be placed on the right-hand side of this track. Now, whenever you gain supplies, the logistics player is going to move the supplies marker to the right, but it can only ever max out as far as the furthest left-hand cargo, which means the more cargo you have, the fewer the supplies you can hold. And so in the case of the Enforcement Bureau action, it says in order to post bail, we must spend 1 supply in order to gain card 50. So the logistics will decrease our supplies by 1.
Let's do it.
And Muriel here will gain card number 50.
Okay, card number 50 coming in. It is Crits. This is a sidekick and a robot sidekick.
Wonderful. We have our first sidekick. And when gained, players can choose to either ready the sidekick immediately in order to start utilizing their benefits at the bottom, or they can choose to place them into their discard pile. Because when they are a part of your skill deck, you can flip them over, just like regular skill cards, in order to utilize their symbols. And so you'll encounter several sidekicks throughout the campaign. So let's just go ahead and ready that one. And that is it for Muriel. So let's go ahead and move on to my character over here, Valentine, the Nexu, who is at location 3 or action 3, which is exploring Rustport. So here I can choose one option as well. I can choose to go to the Holo Games. I can buy cargo or sell cargo, although we don't have any cargo right now.
Sure.
Or I can grift.
Oh.
I think I'm just going to go ahead and check out the Holo Games. I want to know what that is.
Games.
So this is going to utilize the app, and it says to enter in 136.
Okay,
so let's
136.
see what the Holo Games are. And let's hear a little bit of the narration for this one.
Mortal Bloodbath is a simulated gladiatorial arena where competitors feel the pain of combat but suffer none of the injuries, aside from the lingering psychological damage. Full of unearned confidence, you sign up for a match and soon find yourself donning a haptic suit.
Oh, I'm going into combat.
Oh.
So apparently I am paired against a growling contestant named Helga Armripper.
Okay.
And now I need to choose a weapon. So I can choose one. I can grab the Disc Ripper.
Okay.
I can wield the Eviscerax.
Okay.
Or I can brandish the Pinky Swear. That
Okay.
sounds like we're going to brandish the Pinky Swear,
Okay,
because
you can
who
go for
would
that.
not, right?
All right.
Let's do that. All right, well, clearly Helga seems uninterested in the weapons, preferring to rip you apart with her bare hands, but she'll need to catch you first. So you grab the Pinky Swear, you slide it down over your pinky, its jointed plates covering the back of your finger, and what does this thing even do? Well, nuts. You turn tail and run for the cover of some nearby concrete pillars. Okay. So the Pinky Swear wasn't...
It's not good.
was not ideal.
Yeah.
But fortunately, I gain a perk token.
Okay.
And now now I must make an agility skill check, and I'm looking for red hands and the blue star. So I've shuffled this earlier. I know I have an extra card in here.
3 of them.
But I'm going to go ahead and flip over 3.
Blue star.
Whoa.
Red hand.
Wow.
And yellow.
Wow. I swear I shuffled this deck.
Okay.
So it looks like I have a total of 4 icons here. And just like you, I need a 5 or higher in order for me to gain probably a positive result.
Okay.
So I'm going to spend the perk token.
Okay, so you're going to spend it, so you're not going to ask us for help. That
No.
way we can just
That
prevent
way,
stress.
nobody gets stressed out.
Okay,
Right? Who
sure.
wants to be stressed right now?
Yeah.
So let's go ahead and enter in 5. A strange thing happens. Your pinky finger, through no effort on your part, interlocks with Helga's and a shimmering force field envelops your opponent. So clearly, the pinky swear was actually quite strong. And I'm just going to go ahead and skip over the rest of the narration for now.
Okay.
But we gain 1 profit.
Oh, very good.
So we are 1 step of the way to victory for this
1/7.
particular game. 1/7.
There you
Thank
go.
you. In addition, I gained the nickname The Juice. Now, in this game, we are going to be gaining nicknames as well as catchphrases. And anytime you gain either of these 2 things, you're going to write it on your character sheet. So my nickname is now The Juice. The story will sometimes refer to nicknames. And specifically for catchphrases, when performing a skill check, you can say your catchphrase out loud in order to gain the bonus, which for me is drawing a card if I'm doing an agility skill check. And just so you know, you should be writing everything in pencil because these things may also change throughout the campaign. All right, and that is it for me. So we do have one last action to resolve, and it is back to you, Naveen. Bellamy over here.
That's right, and don't forget, you are going to put all these into your discard pile.
Thank you.
So the book is telling us, in order to take this action, it says resolve a ship service option from the ship log. Enter 143.
All right. So it looks like we are going to prep the ship. So there is a bit of dialogue, but we also gain job card number 70, which is escort shipping barge. So it looks like we are going to have 2 jobs.
Yes, so we have this one now. So I'll go ahead and put this on the yellow section here. So this one says, when the job is activated, place the waypoint ring on any anomaly location on the galactic star map. So we'd place this yellow token on that specific type of symbol. Step 1, a supply shipment headed toward the outer spin needs an escort through the uncharted space. Travel to the chosen anomaly location.
Oh, okay. So now we have a second destination. Oh, and we're actually not done with this action because it also says to resolve a ship service option from the ship log. So over the course of the game, we are also going to be keeping track of our ship now that we have one. And we have this ship log. Now there are 5 different options for ship services, including repairing or reloading weapons, or you can upgrade the hold, your ship, or also your weapons. Now, because we're not really going to be going into detail about the functions of our ship, we're going to skip this step, but just know that at this point, you would get to choose one of these. All right, and now that that action is over, that is actually the end of the round. So then we would resolve the end of round phase by entering the number at the bottom of the page here, which is 144. And it'll either direct us to play another round or maybe even travel the galaxy. So it looks like we now board the ship. Then we'll pass the first player token to the left. And one thing we didn't mention is in this game, there are 4 different types of first player tokens, and that'll dictate some of the sound effects in the game. The first player, who is Muriel over here, must choose any one player to pilot the ship out of the hangar for the first time. And that player must make a pilot skill check, which I'm assuming is gonna be me, right? Because as an
you get the
Exu,
pilot.
I have an additional skill bonus here for doing pilot skill checks. So shall we do it?
Do it.
All right, I'm looking for yellow eyes and blue stars. Here we go.
Okay,
1, 2, 3.
Ooh, not too much.
So this says I draw an additional card
Okay.
and I gain a reputation. So
Gotcha.
that is going to be it for my skill check. So now I am that much closer to ranking up. But unfortunately, it looks like I have a total of 2. And then I don't have a perk token anymore.
No.
So it's going to take a lot to get us to that 5
So you have
greatness.
1, 2, and then 3,
Oh,
right? 'Cause
3.
you're the pilot.
That's right. Let's just go with 0 to 4 and see what happens to
Okay.
us, shall we?
Let's just say we didn't do so good.
Okay. The ship's thrusters sputter and cough as the ship chugs its way out of the docking hangar, knocking over several stacks of hundreds of cargo mart shipping crates. So
Okay.
this was not the best way to fly out of the hangar.
Yeah.
The
embarrassing.
ship grinds its way out of the hangar until finally, with a gentle shake, it pulls free of the station, and all of you float out into the silent vacuum of space, free free for the first time in your lives.
Okay.
Sort of. And then it is time to close the location book so that we can travel the galaxy. All right, so now we have the galaxy map. And as you can see, our ship, the Zephyr, is starting at Riva Station, which is located here. And as navigation, Naveen was able to place those waypoints at the destinations that correlate with our current jobs.
And as navigation, it is my job to make sure that all the teammates know about all the different options for where we can travel with our Zephyr. So right now, we really only have one way out of Riva Station. That'll be going across this particular line to chart this way. Let's do it.
Now, anytime you travel, you have to spend power, which is another type of resource that engineering controls. Now, we started with 6 power, and each time you travel, you have to spend 3. So let's go ahead and spend down 3 power.
Okay.
And if you don't have enough, you can make up the difference by spending supplies or life support. And when traveling the galaxy, the app menu changes to reflect that, and you would basically select what type of location you're at that is listed at the very top. And so in the case of our Zephyr here, it looks like we are in deep space.
Oh, yeah.
So I would go ahead and select deep space, and I would follow the directions. Now, we won't go into detail about deep space, but just so you know, when traveling around the galaxy, you'll encounter numerous random events. Sometimes you'll have to make additional skill checks, and sometimes you'll be prompted to work the ship. And whenever that happens, each player gets to select an option from the Work the Ship menu on the roles that they control. And you can resolve these in any order of your choosing, but you must choose one for all 6 of the different roles. As an example, obviously, over the course of travel, we are going to run out of power. And so one of the options for engineering is to just gain 4 power. Similarly, logistics allows you to gain more supplies. And so as you can see, a lot of these actions have to do with the type of role you are controlling. And while we're on the topic of roles, we've already discussed a majority of them, including operations, navigation, logistics. Engineering we've touched upon as well. In addition, they also control the hull. And one other responsibility that engineering has is controlling the drawbag. Now, over the course of the game, we are going to be adding chits as well as pulling chits out of this drawbag that'll do things such as damaging our ship or sometimes even increasing the threat level.
So it's the engineering player's responsibility to manage that bag.
And the last 2 roles are science and security, which deal with discovery as well as combat, which are both concepts that we're not going to be encountering in this preview. Now, of course, when traveling, you're going to move from location to location, but let's just go ahead and skip directly to the Scion Nebula, because that is where our green waypoint is, so that we can also see that location. All right, welcome to Scion Nebula, our final location for this preview. And as you can see, we have additional actions for working the ship. So now, whenever we are prompted to work the ship, players can choose between these 3 options as well.
All right, so here's our green waypoint that goes along with the crap job to the Gasmora cluster.
And we are starting here. Now, go ahead and read step 2.
Okay, so set a course for Gasmora where we are to collect Hyanthra poop.
Oh,
It is truly a crap job.
fascinating. So it looks like step 2 is to travel to Gasmora. And this is a mini map, which you'll sometimes encounter in different locations around the book. And this basically functions very similarly to the galaxy map in the sense that we are going to be traveling along these lines and entering these location numbers in the app and resolving them until we are able to get to Gasmora. And after Gasmora, we'll go to our final destination in order to complete the crap job and earn some money, which again is the point of the game. And again, the game ends as soon as you reach 7 profit, in which you would enter in that code to hear how the game ends. Or if you reach 7th threat first, then you'll enter in that code and the game would also end. But that's essentially it. We will leave the rest for you to discover on your own. Just know that this is a sandbox game in the sense that you are not required to resolve anything in any particular order. You can choose to explore the galaxy in any order of your choosing. And this game follows a fail-forward system in the sense that if you ever have a negative effect, you continue playing and it just changes the way that the narrative unfolds.
Now, again, this game is going to come with several campaigns and over 70 jobs. If you do not want to read the rulebook, the app will also go through setup as well as how to play the game.
And the game also plays solo or 2-player, in which you would employ the use of apprentices to help you through the campaign. But there you go, that is a preview of Wandering Galaxy. Now again, we were unable to go through everything the game has to offer, but this game is currently on Kickstarter, so for more information regarding the game as well as the campaign, we've included a link to their campaign in the description below.
Thank you again for watching the video. We hope you enjoyed it. If you'd like to see more videos like this in the future, please consider subscribing.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Bye.